And as more schools, businesses, and entertainment venues are requiring COVID-19 vaccinations, the courts now have to rule on lawsuits challenging these mandates. How are courts handling these cases so far? NTD's Meliina brings us more.
The Supreme Court has declined to rule on the very first case regarding vaccine mandates. The first of its kind lawsuit was introduced by a group of Indiana University students who say that these mandates violate their right to bodily integrity. The students first lost their case in a circuit court because the judge said that in order for him to rule differently, the Supreme Court would ultimately have to reconsider their own ruling from 1905 on vaccine mandates.
Jacobson versus Massachusetts from 1905, where Massachusetts had a requirement of people to get vaccinated for smallpox or pay a fine. There's going to be some debate that's already erupted on the Supreme Court. How far can that go, and how far can it go without any exemptions?
Justice Amy Coney Barrett declined to take up the Indiana University case because the school does allow for religious and medical exemptions to the vaccine mandate. But Carrington says should the court be faced with the case where no exemptions were allowed, it's likely the court would dive into arguments.
Given the court so far being pretty open to religious liberty claims, I think that there's a pretty good chance that a lawsuit like that would at least get a good number of votes if it got to the Supreme Court. We're going to see how they want to balance religious liberty objections versus public claims about health. But given that, I think that a lawsuit would at least get a pretty serious hearing before the Supreme Court.
And he says vaccine restrictions could open the door for discrimination cases, depending on how far the courts go. The circuit court judge who ruled on the Indiana University case said that students who do not want to be vaccinated may go elsewhere. And places that do allow for religious exemptions are still forcing unvaccinated people to wear masks and socially distance. This is one reason George Mason University professor Todd Zawinski is suing his university. His only options are get vaccinated, wear a mask, or get fired. His suit claims this kind of requirement forces him to publicly disclose his unvaccinated status, which infringes upon his liberty interests. In addition, he says it ignores the existence of natural immunity.
And the idea that they would compel me to do this when I have natural immunity, when I have a demonstrated antibodies test that shows I have very robust natural immunity, while at the same time allowing these other vaccines to qualify just doesn't satisfy the constitutional requirements.
His case is awaiting trial, and just this week, a nonprofit group called Children's Health Defense filed a lawsuit against Rutgers University in New Jersey over their vaccine mandates. So we'll have to see how the courts continue to handle these variety of cases moving forward, and if the Supreme Court will revisit or perhaps even change their ruling from 1905 on vaccine mandates. Reporting in Washington, D.C., Meliina, NTD News.